Have you ever found yourself in like a new situation, maybe a different country or even just a party, and suddenly that thing, small talk, feels like climbing Mount Everest?
No, definitely.
Especially when you're trying it in a language that isn't your first, it can feel like this massive barrier, like a secret code you just haven't cracked yet.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
But here's the thing. Getting the hang of it, mastering small talk, it's genuinely a gateway. It leads to confidence, to making real connections, and just feeling more comfortable, whether you're traveling or meeting new people day to day.
Absolutely. It unlocks a lot.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really going deep into exactly that, trying to demystify small talk for English language learners. We're focusing specifically on those learners around the A2 to B1 proficiency levels. We want to kind of unlock the secrets to those everyday chats. We'll look at what these levels A2, B1 actually mean in the CEFR framework, that big European thing.
Right, the common standard.
And why small talk is just so incredibly important for your whole language journey, and crucially, how you can actually approach it effectively.
Yeah.
And because you, our listener, are really at the heart of this, we're going to give you something super practical. 50 specific small talk questions.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, ready to use today, pulled from some really good resources out there for English learners.
Okay, so our mission today, if you like, is to give you a real shortcut, a way to get well informed about boosting your conversational skills. We want to make sure you're equipped, ready to handle those common social moments without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Right. Less stress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not just what to say, but understanding why it's so important,
Yeah.
why it matters for your language progress, and honestly, for building real connections with people.
Yeah, that why is key.
Think of this deep dive as a guide, maybe, to turning those potentially awkward silences into, well, engaging conversations.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We mentioned the CEFR. For anyone listening who might not be familiar, what exactly is the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages? I know it's a huge deal in language learning circles.
It absolutely is, yeah. Think of the CEFR as like a really detailed map for your language journey. It's this incredibly widely accepted standard. It started in Europe, but honestly, it's getting picked up globally now. And it's all about grading language proficiency.
Okay, grading.
Yeah, its whole purpose is to describe what learners can actually do with a foreign language at different stages. It just makes it so much easier for schools, for employers, and frankly, for you as a learner to understand and evaluate language skills. It gives us all a common language to talk about language ability, no matter where you learned it or where you were.
So it's like a benchmark for progress. That sounds incredibly useful, but where did it come from and what are the kind of core parts? You said it's like a map. What does it actually map out?
Good question. So it was developed by the Council of Europe, mostly back in the late 80s, like 86 to 89. And it really came out of this need for a common framework. Before the CEFR, comparing language qualifications across different countries was, well, messy.
Right.
You can imagine, yeah, a total patchwork. So the CEFR stepped in to offer this unified way to teach and assess languages. Now, the terrain it maps, as you put it, it looks at language skills across three main dimensions. First, there are the language activities. These are simply what you can do with a language.
Okay, like speaking.
Exactly. Understanding someone speaking to you, that's reception. Speaking yourself is production. Talking with others, back and forth, that's interaction.
Ah, interaction. That sounds like small talk.
Precisely. Interaction is key for small talk. There's also mediation, which is like explaining or summarizing things for others, but interaction is our focus here.
Okay, so when I'm, say, at a coffee shop and someone asks, how's your day going? Aha, that's an interaction activity.
Exactly that. Perfect example. Then the second dimension is the domains. This is basically where you're using the language. So educational settings like school, occupational, for work, public situations like shops, travel, banks, and personal settings, talking with friends or family.
Got it. Activities and where you do them.
And the third part is the competencies. These are the skills and knowledge a person uses when they're doing those activities in those domains. There are general competencies like your world knowledge, your learning skills, and then more specifically, communicative competencies.
Woo! That sounds important for conversation.
It really is. This breaks down further into things like linguistic competence, your grammar, your vocabulary. Then sociolinguistic competence, understanding the social side, politeness, knowing when it's okay to interrupt, that sort of thing.
Ah, the unwritten rules.
Exactly. And pragmatic competence, which is all about how you use language effectively to achieve your goals, like building rapport, keeping conversation flowing smoothly.
Hmm.
basically making small talk work. We'll definitely come back to these.
That breakdown is super helpful. It gives a much bigger picture. Okay, let's zoom in on our target audience today, the A2 to B1 learner. For someone just starting out, what does it actually mean to be at A1? That's the breakthrough stage, right?
Yeah, A1 or breakthrough is really the starting line.
Yeah.
The CEFR calls this level a basic user. At A1, you can understand and use really familiar, everyday expressions, very basic phrases, things aimed at satisfying immediate, concrete needs. Like introducing yourself, asking and answering simple questions about personal details, where you live, people you know, maybe things you have.
Okay, very concrete things.
Very concrete. But the key thing for interaction at A1 is the condition. The other person really needs to talk slowly and clearly. And crucially, they need to be prepared to help you out.
Right. Needs support.
Definitely. It's foundational. You're just getting your feet wet, making very direct, simple exchanges, often relying on gestures, and yeah, a lot of patience from the other person.
Okay, building on that foundation then, we move up to A2, which is called waste stage. How does an A2 learner step up from A1? What new possibilities open up?
A2, still in that basic user group called waste stage, shows a really noticeable step forward. At A2, learners can grasp sentences and frequently used expressions about areas that are, well, immediately relevant to them.
Like what kind of areas?
Things like very basic personal and family info, simple shopping situations, talking about your local area, maybe aspects of your job. Communication A2 is more about simple, routine tasks. It requires a direct exchange of information on familiar, everyday matters.
So less reliant on help.
A bit less, yes.
Yeah.
You can also start describing things in simple terms, aspects of your background, your immediate surroundings, things you need right now. It's really about managing in predictable everyday situations, feeling a bit more independent than at A1, even if you still might need some support sometimes.
Okay, and then we take a bigger leap, it sounds like, into the independent user category with B1. That's called threshold. This feels like where things really start to change for learners, maybe a big step towards feeling more fluent. What can a B1 learner really do?
B1 or threshold, yeah, it truly marks a turning point. You're now an independent user.
Mm.
At this level, you can understand the main points of clear, standard information on familiar topics, things you encounter regularly at work, school, in your free time.
So understanding gets better.
Much better for common stuff. And what's fantastic about B1 is you can handle most situations that are likely to come up when you're traveling in a place where the language is spoken.
Oh, wow. Like checking into a hotel or ordering food.
Exactly. Navigating airports, hotels, asking for directions, ordering a meal independently, usually without major difficulty. You can also produce simple connected text on topics that are familiar or interesting to you, like writing a basic email to a friend or a short description of your day.
And speaking, conversation.
Yeah, conversationally, you can describe experiences and events. You can talk about your dreams, your hopes, your ambitions. And importantly, you can briefly give reasons and explanations for your opinions and plans.
Ah, giving reasons. That's a big step.
It is. It's a real shift towards more self-sufficient, more spontaneous language use. You start to feel less like you're just learning the language and more like you're actually using it to communicate.
Okay, and this is exactly where small talk becomes so crucial, isn't it? How does small talk fit into these specific descriptions we just talked about for A2 and B1? How do these levels connect to, the art of just having a casual chat?
This is really where the CEFR structure validates how important small talk is.
Mm-hmm.
If you look closely at those A2 and B1 descriptors, they clearly involve handling simple and routine tasks at A2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And engaging with familiar matters or topics of personal interest at B1, all in an interactive way. Well, small talk, by its very nature, revolves around exactly those things. Familiar, routine, personal topics.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's like the perfect practice ground for learners at these stages. They can practice and strengthen their skills without being thrown into really complex or abstract subjects that might overwhelm them.
Right.
But it does raise an interesting question, doesn't it?
Ugh.
How exactly does the structure of small talk, the questions, the answers, the follow-ups, align with those specific CEFR descriptors and those communicative competencies we mentioned earlier, the linguistic, sociolinguistic, pragmatic stuff?
Mm.
It's not just about what you can say, but how you say it and understanding why it works in a conversation.
Okay, so what does this all mean for small talk itself? We've laid out the CEFR levels, but why is practicing small talk so vital for A2 and B1 learners?
Mm.
It's clearly more than just, filling silence politely. It feels like this hidden curriculum in language learning.
It absolutely is. Small talk is not just polite filler, not at all. It's a vital language activity within that CEFR framework we keep mentioning.
Mm.
Specifically, it falls under interaction, both spoken and written, though mostly spoken here.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's the classic spoken interaction activity. It gives you these low-stakes, high-frequency chances to practice communicating in real time. It's really the foundation for more complicated conversations down the road.
So it's like training wheels for conversation.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
For A2 and B1 learners, it's about getting comfortable with that back-and-forth rhythm, learning how to take turns naturally, how to respond appropriately. Our sources really emphasize that small talk is often the first genuine interactive challenge learners face outside of a very structured classroom setting.
That's a powerful point. But thinking about the CEFR, those hundreds of hours needed to reach B1, for example, that sounds like a lot. Is there a way to make that learning feel less like a grind, especially using something seemingly light like small talk?
That's a crucial point, and this is where our sources really drive home the power of, let's call it, incidental learning, or maybe just consistent practice. Every quick chat, every, how was your weekend? Every nice weather. Hey, they aren't just throwaway lines, they're micro-practice sessions, and they add up.
Micro practice.
Yeah. Now, the exact hours needed vary, of course. Depends on the language, your background, how intensely you study. But reputable places, like the Goethe Institute for German or the Alliance Française for French, they give estimates. For example, reaching B1 in German, the Goethe Institute suggests somewhere like 260 to maybe 490 hours of instruction.
Wow, okay.
For French B1, the Alliance Française might estimate around 360 to 400 hours. These are significant commitments, right?
Definitely.
And they really underline that structured practice, which absolutely includes deliberately engaging in small talk, isn't just helpful, it's essential for making real progress. But think about this. If you just aim for, say, 5 minutes of focused small talk practice each day,
Just 5 minutes.
just 5 minutes, that adds up to over 30 hours of pure real-time conversational practice over a year.
30 hours from 5 minutes a day. That actually sounds manageable.
Exactly. Imagine the cumulative effect. It's about making every hour count, even the small ones. It makes the big numbers seem less scary.
Yeah, that really puts it in perspective. And it highlights how small talk bridges that gap, doesn't it? You go from A1's very basic, often needing help interaction, towards B2's goal, which the CEFR describes as interacting with a degree of fluency and spontaneity that makes regular interaction with native speakers quite possible without strain for either party.
Right. That's the B2 goal.
Small talk feels like the essential stepping stone to get there. It's the practice field where you build that spontaneity bit by bit. You try out phrases, you react to unexpected answers, you slowly get more comfortable, making those more fluent B2 interactions actually seem possible.
It's not just about learning vocabulary lists, is it? It's about finding the rhythm of conversation.
Exactly. So if we're putting in these hours, even just 5 minutes a day,
Yeah.
what should we be talking about? That's the big question for small talk, right? What are the safe topics?
It is. And this leads us right into the actual content of small talk. Now, the CEFR itself doesn't give you a list of 50 approved questions or anything like that.
Right.
But our source material, drawing on lots of ESL resources, points to really common categories that line up perfectly with what A2 and B1 learners can typically handle. Think about topics like work, travel, and hobbies. Pretty universal, right?
Yeah, most people can say something about those.
Exactly. Then questions about daily life, routine, accessible stuff, and of course, general getting to know you questions. These categories fit so well with those CEFR descriptors we talked about. Familiar matters for B1 and areas of immediate relevance for A2.
Okay.
They're relatable topics. They don't force learners into deep philosophical debates or require super specialized vocabulary. They let you focus on the interaction itself, not just struggling for words.
So if we tailor this more specifically to the CEFR levels, for an A2 learner, we're looking for questions that really encourage that simple and direct exchange of information on familiar and routine matters.
Spot on. Keep it factual. Keep it direct.
Whereas for a B1 learner, the scope widens a bit. You can ask questions that might help them practice dealing with most situations likely to arise while traveling, or maybe prompt them to describe experiences or give brief reasons for opinions.
Right. So the essence of good small talk questions for A2B1 is really finding that balance.
Yeah.
The goal is to pick questions that get the conversation going, but without demanding super complex grammar or vocabulary that's way beyond their current level.
We're looking for questions that are, like the CEFR says, clear, standard input on familiar matters.
Precisely. Which means avoiding, really complex idioms maybe, or asking about highly specialized technical things,
Keep it simple.
keep it direct, use common words, and stick to subjects most people can talk about easily without reaching for a dictionary or complex sentence structures.
Mm.
Keep it grounded, keep it real, keep it accessible.
Okay.
But, and this is fascinating, good small talk isn't just about firing off question after question from a list.
Right, that feels awkward.
Totally. It's about the natural flow. And that flow depends heavily on what the sources call short reactions or follow-ups.
Ah, reacting to the answer.
Exactly. This is absolutely crucial for A2 learners who are just getting the hang of that simple and direct exchange.
Mm.
And for B1 learners who are starting to deal with most situations, these follow-ups show you're actually listening and engaging, not just going through the motions.
Mm.
It's about hearing their answer and then responding naturally. Maybe with a short comment, oh, really? Or that sounds interesting. Or maybe another related question that springs from their answer. That's what makes it feel like a real dynamic conversation, moving beyond just Q&A.
Listening to this, I always thought small talk was just, well, small,
Yeah.
minor. But it really sounds like for A2B1 learners, it's a massive stepping stone.
It really is foundational.
So let's get practical. Let's dive into those 50 questions our listeners can actually use. We've broken them down into 10 common, safe categories. Let's start with a real classic, work and studies. These are usually pretty safe ground for almost anyone.
Good place to start.
Okay, here's our first question for you then. What do you do for work?
I'm a language expert, yeah. I work mostly with teaching materials, curriculum design, that sort of thing.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. So, what's your favorite part about your job?
Good question. I think I love seeing learners make progress, especially when they have those aha moments.
Yeah, that must be really rewarding. Okay, how about this one? Do you enjoy what you do?
Yes, I genuinely do. It feels like I'm hopefully making a positive impact.
That's great to hear. Or maybe for someone younger. Are you still studying or have you finished?
Me, I finished my main studies quite a few years back, but honestly, I feel like I'm always learning new things in my field. You have to.
Of course. Yeah, learning never really stops, does it? And maybe a follow-up. What did you study in college?
I studied applied linguistics.
Yeah.
It really gets into the nitty-gritty of how languages work and, crucially, how people learn them.
Okay, moving on from work. A really easy way to connect with people is through hobbies, right? What they do for fun.
Definitely. Less pressure.
So, for our next 5 questions, let's talk hobbies and free time. How about, what do you like to do in your free time?
Let's see. I really love hiking, getting out in the mountains,
Yeah.
and I also enjoy trying out new recipes in the kitchen. Bit of a foodie.
Oh, hiking. That's wonderful. So, do you have any hobbies that you're particularly passionate about?
Yeah, I'd say hiking is the main one. There's just something incredibly calming about being out in nature, away from screens.
I completely agree. What about, have you picked up any new hobbies recently? Anything new?
Actually, yes. I've started trying to learn the ukulele.
No way.
Yeah, it's challenging. My fingers aren't quite used to it yet, but it's fun.
That sounds really cool, very unique. Okay, question 4 here. What kind of books or movies or music do you enjoy? You can pick one.
Okay. Books-wise, I'm really into historical fiction lately. Movies, probably sci-fi, and music. Gotta love classic rock.
Nice. A good eclectic mix. And number 5 for hobbies. Do you prefer spending your free time indoors or outdoors?
Ooh, generally outdoors, especially if the weather's decent.
Yeah.
But, a rainy day with a good book indoors is pretty great, too.
Okay, travel, another almost universal topic. People generally love talking about places they've been or want to go.
Yeah, opens up lots of stories.
Let's dive into travel and holidays. First one, simple. Do you like to travel?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Love it. It's definitely one of my favorite things to do.
Fantastic. So, what's the most interesting place you've ever visited?
The most interesting? I think I'd have to say Japan. The culture shock, but in a good way. That mix of ancient traditions and super modern tech was just amazing.
Wow, Japan's high on my list too. Okay, looking forward. Do you have any travel plans coming up? Anything booked?
Nothing major, but I am planning a short trip to the coast next month. Just for a few days, switch off, relax by the sea.
Sounds lovely. Perfect little break. How about this one? What's your dream vacation destination? Money no object.
Ooh, dream destination. I think I'd love to go on a proper safari in Africa someday. Seeing animals like elephants and lions in their natural habitat must be just incredible.
Oh yeah, that sounds absolutely breathtaking. And finally, for travel, do you prefer relaxing holidays or active ones? Lying on a beach or climbing a mountain?
Usually active ones for me. Lots of exploring, maybe some hiking involved. but I won't say no to a relaxing beach day now and then to recharge.
All right, next up, food and drink. Who doesn't enjoy talking about food?
Exactly. Very safe, very relatable.
It's so immediate. Let's explore food and drink. Question 1. What's your favorite type of food? If you had to pick one cuisine.
Oh, that's always so hard. But I think I go with Italian. You just can't beat really good fresh pasta or pizza.
Mmm, classic choice. Can't argue with pasta. Okay, second question. Do you like to cook?
Yes, I do enjoy cooking. Actually, I find it quite relaxing most of the time. Just chopping vegetables, following a recipe, making something from scratch.
That's a great skill and probably healthier too. Have you tried any new restaurants lately?
Yeah, I went to a new Thai place that opened up downtown last week. It was really good. Very authentic flavors.
Ooh, I love Thai food too. Must check it out. Okay, daily habit question. What's your go-to coffee order?
Pretty simple for me. Just a black coffee, usually an Americano, no fuss.
Simple and effective, gets the job done. And last one for this category. Do you prefer tea or coffee? The eternal question.
Definitely coffee to kickstart the day. Need that caffeine. But I do enjoy a nice cup of herbal tea in the afternoon or evening sometimes.
Okay, the ultimate classic small talk topic, the weather.
Can't avoid it.
It's always there, always changing. Everyone experiences it. So let's talk weather and seasons. First, the most obvious, how's the weather today?
Actually, it's lovely today. Really sunny, just a gentle breeze. Perfect weather for, well, anything outdoors, really.
Sounds perfect. Wish I was outside. Okay, next, what's your favorite season and maybe why?
Hmm. I think I love autumn best. The colors of the changing leaves are just stunning, and I like that crisp feeling in the air after the summer heat.
Yeah, autumn is beautiful. Okay,
Yeah.
preference. Do you like hot weather or cold weather, generally speaking?
I definitely prefer warm weather over cold, but not too hot. Maybe around, say, 25 degrees Celsius. That's pretty ideal for me.
Yeah, that's a comfortable temperature, not too extreme. And are you enjoying the current season, whatever it is right now?
Yes, I am actually. Summer's great. The long daylight hours and the sunshine are really nice for getting out and about.
I agree. Makes a difference. And finally, what kind of weather makes you feel happiest?
Happiest. Probably bright, sunny, clear blue skies. It just instantly lifts my mood, you know?
Okay, this next category is perfect for a Friday afternoon chat, or maybe first thing Monday morning. Shows you're interested in someone's life outside work, but not too nosy.
Good timing cues.
Let's talk weekend plans. First, do you have any exciting plans for the weekend?
Nothing I'd call wildly exciting. But I am looking forward to visiting a local farmer's market on Saturday and maybe catching a movie Sunday afternoon. Just relaxing stuff.
Sounds like a lovely, relaxed weekend, though. Sometimes those are the best. How about looking back? What did you do last weekend?
Last weekend, let me think. I spent most of Saturday just reading a book I was really into. Then I went for a nice long bike ride on Sunday because the weather was good.
Sounds very chilled and quite healthy. Are you usually busy on the weekends, or do you try to keep them free?
It really depends. Some weekends are packed with plans, seeing friends, family stuff. But I definitely try to keep some downtime free just for relaxing and recharging. Need that balance.
Yeah, that balance is important. Do you prefer quiet weekends or active ones, if you had to choose?
Ideally, I like a mix. Maybe a quiet Saturday pottering around the house, and then a more active Sunday getting outdoors. Best of both worlds.
That makes perfect sense. And the last one for weekends. What's your favorite way to relax on a weekend? Your ultimate relaxation activity?
My absolute favorite way. Probably just curling up on the sofa with a really good book, a cup of tea, maybe some quiet music. Simple pleasures.
Okay, this category is great because it's about shared experience. Daily life, routines, we all have them. It's familiar, relatable territory.
Very grounded.
Let's delve into daily life and routines. First up, what does a typical day look like for you, roughly?
A typical weekday. Usually starts with coffee, essential. Then I get stuck into work. Try to take a proper lunch break around noon. Then in the evening, it's usually relaxing, maybe some exercise, dinner, pretty standard stuff.
Sounds pretty structured, predictable.
Hmm.
Do you have a favorite part of your day?
Favorite part? Probably that first cup of coffee in the morning. It's just a nice quiet moment before the day really kicks off and gets busy.
I totally get that. That first quiet coffee is sacred. How do you usually get to work or school? Commute question.
I usually take the bus. It's fairly reliable, but sometimes, if the weather's nice and I have time, I'll walk instead. It's good to get some steps in.
Yeah, walking is a nice way to start or end the day. What's your favorite thing to do on a weeknight? To unwind after work?
Favorite thing? Probably watching a good TV series, getting into a story, Or sometimes just listening to a podcast while I'm making dinner.
Me too. Love a good podcast.
Yeah.
And last, for this daily life section, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, definitely a morning person. I seem to have much more energy and focus in the mornings. Evenings, I tend to wind down.
Okay, this category edges a bit more into B1 territory, perhaps, where you can start to briefly give reasons and explanations for opinions, but the key is simple opinions.
All right, nothing too controversial or complex.
Exactly. These are about simple opinions and preferences. Let's try. Do you prefer city life or country life?
For me, country life, definitely. I just love the peace and quiet, being closer to nature, less traffic.
I can see the appeal. Okay, we touched on this, but let's ask directly. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Still an early bird. Yep, love waking up early, especially on weekends, before the world gets noisy.
That's discipline. Okay, music again, but simple preference. What's
Yeah.
your favorite type of music broadly?
Favorite type? I guess I enjoy pop music for something upbeat, but also classical music when I want to relax or concentrate. Really depends on my mood.
Good to know. Variety. How about this? Do you like to try new things or do you generally prefer familiar things, your general approach?
I generally like to try new things, I think. Whether it's food or places or activities, it just makes life a bit more interesting, don't you think?
I agree. Keeps things fresh.
Yeah.
And finally for this one, what's one thing you really enjoy doing? Just one thing.
One thing I really enjoy, I'd have to say, reading. Escaping into a good book is probably my favorite way to relax and learn new things at the same time.
Okay, this next category, current events, needs a little caution sign. Keep it light.
Absolutely crucial. No politics, no religion, nothing controversial for small talk.
Definitely not. Focus on widely known, general, positive, or neutral news. Let's call it current events. Light. Maybe like this. Have you heard about mention something recent and non-controversial, maybe a new local park opening or a popular movie release?
Oh yeah, I did see that the new park down by the river opened. It looks really nice in the pictures online. I plan to go check it out soon, maybe this weekend.
Oh, I've heard good things too. Okay, slightly different angle. What's something interesting you've learned recently? Could be anything.
Interesting. I read an article about a new discovery in astronomy, something about distant galaxies.
Hmm.
It was pretty mind-blowing, even though I only understood half of it.
Wow, that sounds cool though. Related to media, have you seen any good movies or TV shows lately?
Yes, actually. I watched a fantastic nature documentary last night about ocean life. It was beautifully filmed and quite thought-provoking, too.
Oh, I love a good nature documentary. Always learn something.
Uh,
How about sports? Are you following any particular sports or big events right now?
Not really following any specific team or league closely at the moment, but I do sometimes watch the big international events, like the Olympics or the World Cup when they're on.
Fair enough. They're hard to miss. And last one here. Is there anything interesting happening in your neighborhood or city recently? Local stuff?
Let me think. Our local library just started a new book club for adults, focusing on contemporary fiction. I thought that was a really great initiative. Might even join.
All right, our final category. This is a nice way to move beyond the here and now, learn about someone's aspirations. It fits well with that B1 ability to discuss dreams, hopes, and ambitions.
Yeah, looking forward. It's often positive.
Let's talk future plans and dreams. First question, do you have any particular plans for the next few months? Any projects or upcoming things?
Well, yes, I'm planning to finally redecorate my living room. It's just a small project, painting and maybe some new cushions, but I'm actually quite excited about it.
Oh, that sounds like fun. A nice refresh. What's something you're looking forward to? Could be big or small.
I'm really looking forward to a long weekend trip I've got planned in about 3 weeks. Just having that break on the horizon is nice.
Yeah, always good to have something to look forward to. Is there anything new you particularly want to try or learn soon?
I'd really like to try learning a new language myself, maybe Spanish. It seems so useful, and I love the sound of it.
Oh, that would be amazing. Go for it. What's a goal you're currently working towards? Could be personal or professional.
My current goal. I'm trying to make more time for reading books this year. My aim is to read at least one proper book a month. So far, so good.
That's a fantastic goal and very achievable if you break it down.
Yeah.
Okay, our final small talk question for today, number 50. What's one dream or big ambition you have for the future?
A big dream. Well, I've always dreamed of traveling around the world someday. Not necessarily all at once, but really experiencing lots of different cultures over time. That would be incredible.
Wow, 50 questions. That's a fantastic toolkit. But, with all this in mind, listeners might be wondering, okay, where do I find more questions like these beyond the 50 you just gave us?
That's a great question.
The good news is there are seriously tons of resources out there. Our source material really highlights that so many websites and books exist specifically for ESL conversation questions for adults.
Hmm.
And they're often perfectly suitable for beginner to intermediate learners, those A2, B1 levels we're focusing on. We're talking about things titled like Conversation Questions for ESL Classrooms, or just general ESL conversation questions. You might search for speaking situations, or specific categories like Getting to Know You conversation questions, or even broader things like ESL conversation questions for adults.
Yeah, the web is full of them.
And they aren't just random lists usually. They're often curated with learners in mind, sometimes offering tips for follow-ups or related vocabulary too.
And a really key piece of advice that came up in the sources is the idea of adapting the questions. One source said specifically to adapt the questions to fit the grade level, proficiency level, and culture of your EL English learner.
Ah, personalization.
Exactly. It really highlights how customizable language learning should be. It's not one size fits all. You can grab a list of questions and then maybe simplify the wording, or choose the ones most relevant to your life or the person you're talking to.
Right.
These resources are really designed to spark those aha moments, those times when you connect a phrase or a question type to a real-life situation you might actually encounter. They're built to help you practice that simple and direct exchange of information that the CEFR talks about for A2 and B1.
So look for resources that fit your level.
Definitely. And when you're looking at, say, ESL conversation questions for adults, maybe specifically look for ones that include suggested follow-up questions. That's super helpful. One source even recommended practicing branching conversations.
Branching.
Yeah, where you think about how each potential answer could lead to maybe 2 or 3 different related follow-up questions. It teaches you how to keep the conversation going naturally, not just jump to the next unrelated question on your list.
That sounds like a really practical exercise. Making it personal, making it effective, and teaching you how to extend the chat.
Exactly.
It's so important to remember, though, isn't it, that these lists, even the Great 50 we just went through, they're just springboards that get you started.
Absolutely.
Just the start. The real learning, the real progress, happens in the actual interaction itself. The questions are there to kickstart things, but the main goal and to move beyond just reciting questions and answers like a robot.
Mm-hmm.
The sources also mentioned looking for broader conversation topics for adults or ESL conversation questions about daily life.
Yeah.
These general areas are fertile ground.
Yeah.
They let you explore familiar territory, which gives you the mental space to practice forming your own follow-up questions, maybe offering your own opinions tentatively, and really engaging in that back and forth dance of conversation.
Making it organic, yeah. Not robotic. That's the key.
And what's really kind of liberating, I think, is how the whole understanding of language proficiency itself is evolving, especially within the CEFR framework.
Yeah, if we connect this back to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
it's really clear the CEFR isn't just some obscure European thing anymore. It's had a massive influence on language education globally.
Right. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, you see localized versions popping up or countries formally adopting it. Places like Japan, Malaysia, Vietnam, they're all using or referencing the CEFR now. This really shows how applicable it is, even for learners and languages outside of the West. Like, the Malaysian government explicitly stated something like, CEFR is a suitable and credible benchmark for English standards in Malaysia.
Wow.
That kind of global reach means the principles we're discussing today, the way we're thinking about A2 and B1 for small talk, it's relevant way beyond just Europe. The skills you build using this framework are globally understood and useful.
And these frameworks, they don't just sit still, do they? They evolve, just like language itself. You mentioned there were some recent really interesting updates or insights from the CEFR.
Absolutely, Emma. Host speaker. Force of habit. Yes, a major, really exciting update is something called the CEFR Companion Volume. You can call it CEFR CV for short.
Okay, companion volume.
Think of it like CEFR version 2.0. It's packed with new insights that actually make this whole small talk journey even clearer, I think. One of the biggest things it does is redefine one of those core language activities we mentioned earlier, mediation.
Mediation. Wasn't that about translating?
Originally, yeah. In the 2001 version, mediation was mostly seen as translating, interpreting, maybe summarizing text from one language to another. But in the new companion volume, mediation is much broader. It now refers to the processes employed by multiple language users when jointly constructing meaning.
Jointly constructing meaning. Okay, what does that look like?
It breaks down into two main types. There's cognitive mediation, that's about helping someone understand knowledge or concepts, like explaining a complex idea simply, or helping someone access information they don't have. And then there's relational mediation. This focuses on establishing and maintaining interpersonal relationships, creating a cooperative, positive atmosphere.
Ah, relational mediation. That sounds exactly like small talk.
Bingo. Small talk is a prime example of relational mediation in action. It is fundamentally about establishing and maintaining those social connections, about creating a comfortable, cooperative space for communication to happen.
Right?
It's not just about swapping facts, it's about building rapport, making the other person feel at ease, showing interest.
So it's not just about grammar or vocab.
Not at all.
Mm.
It's about connecting with people on a human level. And for language learners, this redefinition is incredibly powerful. It highlights that small talk isn't just a trivial linguistic exercise you have to get through. It's a crucial social skill. It directly contributes to genuine connection and makes all other communication more effective. It's about bridging gaps and building trust.
That's such a powerful way to think about it. It makes small talk feel less intimidating somehow, doesn't it? Seeing it as building a bridge, not just reciting sentences.
Exactly. And another really significant change in the companion volume, something incredibly empowering for learners, is the complete disappearance of references to a native speaker standard.
Wait, really? It's completely gone. That's huge EE.
Isn't it?
That must be such a relief for so many learners. For decades, that idea of needing to sound native was this impossible gold standard.
Exactly. The pressure is off. It means the focus is no longer on trying to perfectly mimic a specific native accent or achieving flawless, error-free grammar that sounds exactly like someone who grew up speaking only English, for instance.
So what is the focus now?
The emphasis is squarely on intelligibility and effective communication. Can people understand you? Can you get your message across clearly? The companion volume, for instance, when it describes pronunciation, even at C2, the highest level of mastery, it talks about clarity and meaning. It says things like ensuring the finer points of their message are clear and precise, and that intelligibility is not affected in any way by features of accent that may be retained from other languages.
Wow. So your accent is okay as long as people understand you.
Pretty much. As long as it doesn't hinder understanding. This is so liberating, especially for A2, B1 learners just starting with small talk. Your goal is to be understood and to connect, not to sound like someone you're not, or feel like you have to erase your own linguistic background.
I totally hear you on the no native speaker standard and how empowering that is. But just playing devil's advocate for a second, isn't there sometimes still a practical reason for learners wanting to acquire a certain accent or specific idioms if their goal is, say, deep integration into a particular culture or workplace? How do we balance intelligibility with those kinds of goals?
That's a really fair and important point. It highlights the nuance, doesn't it? Well, the CEFR rightly shifts the focus to intelligibility for general proficiency. Achieving specific integration goals is absolutely valid for many learners. The key, I think, is understanding that intelligibility itself happens in context. Being understood by a wide range of people is the baseline. Our sources would suggest that for A2B1 learners, the priority should absolutely be clear articulation, mastering common stress and intonation patterns that affect meaning, rather than trying to eliminate their accent entirely right away. That comes much later, if at all, and should be a conscious choice.
So effective communication first.
Exactly. Get the message across clearly. The finer points, the specific idioms, the more subtle accent features associated with a particular group, those tend to come naturally with much more exposure and practice, usually at higher proficiency levels. For small talk at A2B1, the main thing is, are your words clear enough for the listener to grasp your meaning easily? Does your intention, which is usually friendly connection, come across? Learners can feel empowered knowing their unique voice, their background, is an asset, part of who they are, not something to be hidden, as long as the message itself is clear.
That's a great way to frame it. Focus on clarity first, the rest can follow if needed. And building on that flexibility, you also mentioned that the CEFR describes context-specific, differentiated competence profiles, not just one single global scale. What does that mean for our small talk skills?
Right. It means that your ability in small talk is just one part of a bigger, more complex picture of your language skills. The CEFR recognizes that proficiency isn't just a single ladder you climb straight up. You can have different strengths in different areas, or what it calls domains.
So I might be better at chatting in a shop than in a work meeting.
Precisely. You might be really good at A2 B1 level small talk in public situations, asking for directions, buying things, basic greetings, but maybe still developing your confidence for small talk in a more formal work setting or discussing hobbies in detail. The CEFR framework itself actually makes it very clear that its descriptors are meant as recommendations, as a basis for reflection and discussion between teachers and learners, not as rigid, mandatory standards you have to meet
That
exactly.
was flexible.
Very flexible. And this approach further underlines that your small talk practice isn't just about hitting one specific target. It contributes to building a richer, more personalized, well-rounded set of communication skills that work for your specific needs and goals. It's not about ticking every single box on one list.
Okay, so to kind of wrap up our deep dive today then, the big takeaway seems to be that understanding your CEFR level, particularly if you're around A2 or B1, is super valuable for making your small talk practice focused and effective.
Mm-hmm. Targeted practice.
We've explored the kinds of questions that work well, focusing on those familiar, routine, personal topics. And we highlighted that there are loads of resources online to help you find more questions, including, of course, the 50 specific examples we walked through today.
Yeah, hopefully those are really useful.
But the main point, maybe, is that effective small talk isn't just about having a list of questions memorized. It's about genuinely engaging in that interaction, making those crucial connections, and building your confidence step by step.
Absolutely. And maybe this raises a final important question for you, the listener, to think about as you continue your language journey. How can mastering this art of small talk, this seemingly simple, everyday act of conversation, how can that be a foundational step, not just for getting better at English, but maybe even for developing broader skills like critical thinking in a world that's just overloaded with information?
Interesting connection.
Well, think about it. By building your conversational confidence at these A2, B1 levels, you're not just learning to speak. You're learning to engage with others, to listen actively, to understand different perspectives, even in simple exchanges, and maybe even apply what you know in new social situations. It's about more than just the words themselves. It could be about fostering genuine human connection, driving personal growth, and maybe even understanding the world a little better, all through the power of language, starting with something as simple as, "How's your day?"
Before you go, remember this. Every word you learn makes you stronger. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. You'll find more lessons, more stories, and more English practice to help you feel confident in any situation. Don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who might need it. Let's keep learning together. See you in the next lesson.